Good morning, traders. So, I'm a little bit late getting this daily watch list out, but you know what? I have already quit trading. The hell with that. This has pissed me off, and I am working on getting this out to you guys, partly because I want to see how accurate my analysis is. The other part is I hate problems that I just can't get over. So, that's what's been going on with me. Without getting any more into it, let's go ahead and start going through this daily watch list. Starting out with the lowest dollar value of all the ones that I have looked at, we are going to be starting at AMRN. And this puppy gapped up from $2.98 over the weekend all the way up to $12.58. And it steadily tapered off a little bit. The morning open was at $10.49. Nothing crazy on the upside. Basically, what we're looking at with this is the market sentiment could go one of two ways. Those two ways being, this thing finds its support here, retests the high of the morning, which was $12.48, and then the market just decides, you know what, this is going to be our next L-fin, this is going to be our next tops, and it skyrockets this puppy. I don't expect to see it jump up to more than $21.79. Holy crap, on a $10 stock, which was just $3 a couple of days ago. Only $21, that is huge, tremendous growth. What does that mean for you today? Well, that means if you can jump on that train and that actually comes through, you're looking at about, if my math serves me right, about a 75% growth. Let's see. 107% growth. Pardon my French. All right, 107% growth. If we short this thing back down to nothingness, expect to see it drop all the way down to about 535, and even the shorting it to nothingness, that's going to net you about 50% of growth and $5 total movement. This thing could be huge today if the market stays behind it. Next up, we are going to examine P for Pandora. Pandora had an absolutely amazing weekend of trading. And it had jumped all the way up from $9.04, where it hit the low on Friday, and it jumped up to $11. That's a $2 change. Currently, it's hovering around the $9.79 mark. If people decide this thing just should not have jumped up that full $2 range, expect to see them short it back down to the 905. If that support holds true, great for Pandora. If not, expect to see this thing could take a nosedive all the way down to the $7 mark. If we look at it on the daily, it has been riding the high side, so it's been in a steady upstream. And this could be profit taking. It could be just a change and people are ready to get going and get behind this thing again. If that is the case and they decide they want to just ride this train with all these shares, prior to market open, it was already over 9 million shares traded. Maybe they push it all the way up to $12.97. Doesn't sound like a whole lot, but hey, what happens is when you're dealing with a $9 stock, if it jumps up by $3, that is a 33% gain. That is huge, guys. Huge. Great potential for growth if the market gets behind it today. Next stock that we're going to take a look at is going to be AMD. I like AMD. It's shown a whole lot of movement over the past couple of weeks. I'll minimize this down so we can get to my analysis. As you can see, AMD was showing, boom, it shot right up. It's riding the high side of the Bollinger Band, has a minor pullback, catches its footing, shoots on up again. Oh, it consolidates for a little while, and then bam, it just takes off like a rocket. Uh-oh, but you're going to tell me all last week we shorted this thing down. Yeah, you shorted it all right, but only for a small percentage. This shorting that we've seen last week over the past 4 or 5 days, that was profit taking. The big ticket players that have been putting their big money into this thing and holding out behind it, these guys got in behind AMD and they're wanting to lock in some of their profits. So that's what that was. I expected to see this thing jump up and get going again. If we can get over the $31.52 range, which was the current pre-market resistance, well, if it can get up, break that, and hold over that, expect to see this thing climb all the way up to 32, 33. In the event that this was just a cover pop and we want to try and bring this thing back down to the ground, expect to see it test the 3073. And that 3073 is a good solid point for consolidation. But if we decide that, hey, this thing just does not need to be a $33 stock today, expect to see that resistance break or support break on the low side and market sentiment shove this thing down all the way to $29.92, somewhere right there around the $30 range at the bottom. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's strong. I think it just needed a little bit of a breather to catch its breath, and then to see this thing just skyrocket on up. You like it. I like it. Hey, $33, not that bad for a stock that does that much business. All right, let's keep going. The next one I want to take a look at is going to be CMCSA. Not something that I really fool with all the time, but it had a lot of volume this morning. So far, it's still sitting at around 6 million shares traded. Had a couple of times. It basically was gapping down, and then it had a couple of pops where they just tried to shove this thing up, and the market was like, no, go away, get back down. So it did not break the initial over the weekend resistance of $38.10. And the bottom, our support, was around $35.44. Currently, we are headed back towards that support value. In the event, I would expect to see this thing ping pong between the daily open, which was $35.95, and the $35.44. If it can break the daily open and regain some composure, expect to see this thing come on back up to the 38. Not a whole lot more, but hey, anything is possible. I really don't expect to see it up in the $40 range, just not today. Why? Because we are already heavily extended outside the Bollinger Band at 38.10. I just don't see an extra $2 in it today. However, if this thing were to break support and head to the downside, I think it's very possible that if we break this $35.44, expect to see a major market correction for Comcast, dropping all the way down to $32.78, almost a full $3, $2.50 some. That could be huge. All right, we are going to move forward and talk about gold. You know what? I'm not even going to go over this one. It gapped up over the weekend, but honestly, here we are. We still ain't broke 1 million shares traded. I just don't think people are, and as I'm saying, there it goes on a little spike. I don't know. This is what the market data says it would be. We could expect a top out of $73. Get out of here. This thing isn't going to gain another $5. But in the event it does, what the hell? You know, usually these things that are involving gold, silver, things like that, if that's what this is, Rand Gold Resources. I don't even get into these companies. I don't fool with it. I'm just telling you what the Fibonacci says and what the market sentiment says. I just don't see it, guys. This thing's been shorted. This is a little cover pop. This has got to be some big money just saying, hey, we drug this thing down to nothing. There's a good time to buy for a long-term investment. I don't know. I just don't see it, guys. That was a hell of a gap up. I would be betting today or tomorrow that we're going to see it retest the 63.96 and possibly once it kind of figures out what it's going to do and consolidate, see this thing go ahead and short all the way down to $59.20. That might take all the way to the end of the week. Who knows? But I don't see this thing climbing up to 73. I just don't see it. Prove me wrong. All right, we're going to move on to our big ticket items, which are going to be Apple, Baba, Facebook, Netflix, and Tesla. Let's start at the highest volume shares traded, which is going to be with Apple. Going to back this up. See, Apple has steadily been gaining some foothold, and then it had a pullback. That's a little bit of a market correction. It needed it. It was expected. Don't worry, it hasn't fallen off the face of the planet. It just corrected itself. We were outside the Bollinger Bands, and then here we come down. Yesterday or Friday's trading, however, was towards the bottom of the Bollinger Band, but we did not exceed it. I expect that if it has just as bad of a day today as it had on Friday, this thing is going to, I do not want to do that. I expect this thing to continue on down. However, These bigger tickets, they're kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. They do what they want. They don't care what you think about them. There's so much money behind these big ticket stocks that they can make their own magic, right? So pre-market predictions were to say that this thing had a resistance of around $218.74. So far, that's holding true, and a support value of around $216.46. Now, that is a $2 and some change gap. Not a huge leap for a company that trades at the price of Apple at over $200. So expect to see if it can break this pre-market resistance. See this puppy jump up back around the 221.05 mark. If we don't like it and we decide this week is going to be more Friday, you're going to see this cover pop reject around the 218, come back down to the 216.48. And if it doesn't start bouncing around there, expect Apple to tank all the way down to around 214.18. BABA, what can we look for out of BABA? Ooh, these are all the ones. I thought this was going to work out for you, but given a little more thought on it, I don't think I'm going to be adding those into the video anymore. I just don't know if you're getting any value out of them. Why is this thing not sharing? Let's see. New share. Did I share that screen? I did not share that screen. All right, I'm going to keep going anyway, even though it's not showing. Maybe it shares, maybe it didn't. You know what? We're going to stop there. You can figure out the others, the Facebook, the Netflix, the Tesla. You know what they're going to do. I'm going to just flip through them for you real quick. There's the BABA. Here is the Facebook. Remember, you heard it here first. It's crazy. Yep, we shorted this thing down. Where is it going to go? We don't know. But we can tell you probably where a range it's going to play around at. Let's see. Guys, this is really bothering me. This is like the fourth time I've tried to record this video, and it doesn't look like it's going to be successful. I am just getting pissed off at the world. Let's go ahead. I'm going to show you Netflix. See if we can get any luck out of this. All right. Had a correction. Came back up. Consolidated. Don't know if it's going to go up or down. They've had a lot of changes lately. This is the range we was looking at between 375 and 347. And then finally Tesla, which makes no sense to anyone in the righteous world. This is a company and leadership that is just all over the damn page. One thing's for certain, whether it's going up in value or down in value, this is a monster that can make a lot of money in a single day. We're looking at anywhere from 289.91 on the lowest side if it breaks out of support and drops down, all the way up to 305.03 on the high side. Which way is it going to go? Don't know. Currently, it broke the pre-market resistance, which was $300. It gets up over that $300 mark. Expect this thing to have no problem holding out, continuing to push on up all the way to the 305 level, just because it's crazy. It's Tesla. It does what it wants. Also, do not underestimate the power of certain people to make tweets, Twitter feeds, emails, and just ridiculous gestures on popular podcast shows, which could possibly push this puppy on down to the $289 mark. And any way you look at it, if you get on the right side of the move, it is going to make you some money. All right. Let me post this thing up and see if I just wasted another 15 minutes worth of my time. See you guys tomorrow.